Welcome to the Coop Tank. I'm your host, Steve Cooper, coming to you from SuiteRecording in beautiful Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I'm here with my producer, Joe. Coach Joe Gangemi. How you doing today, Joe?
Coop, I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Good. Now, people don't know Joe's a really good guitarist. Okay, and that's one thing I think people should know because he has a studio. He loves music. Joe, what is your favorite song? What if someone could say play this riff? What would your favorite song to play a riff to be?
Oh, Coop, that's a great question, man. My favorite riff of all time has got to be "Whole Lot of Love" by Led Zeppelin, but I really love to play "Hey Joe" by Jimi Hendrix, which I think is kind of funny because my name is Joe, but great tune. And I see Tom here as a drum kit in the back, and maybe we could jam sometime, Tom.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yep.
Well, now, Joe, tell us a little more about SuiteRecording.
SuiteRecording is a podcast and content studio here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, and we love to help brands and businesses to leverage the power of podcasting and YouTube to generate quality content and to amplify their message and to reach their audience in a fun and unique way. So we help with everything from podcast planning to publication of your episodes. And we also provide mobile recording and live streaming and some other services as well. So if you're interested in learning more about SuiteRecording, you can contact us anytime at hello@suiterecording.com or visit us on the web at suiterecording.com. That's SUITE. Take it away, Coop.
Okay, we have a great panel today. My first guest from StimulusBrand Communications is Tom McManimon. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. Thank you.
And then a woman I've been networking for a long time with from NJBIA, which is a New Jersey Business Industry Association. It's Katie Wittkamp. How you doing, Katie?
I'm good. How are you?
And then the coolest engineer, works with engineers. She talks to people from Erickson Sons. It's Diane Goschler. How you doing, Diane?
I'm good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So Tom, tell us a little about your company and what you do.
My company is called StimulusBrand Communications. It's really a marketing and advertising agency, full service, all of the mix of traditional and digital media. We're very, very strategic and built around brand positioning. I speak about positioning. I've written a couple of books about positioning. And to small local businesses, they think of positioning and branding sometimes as, the logo on your sweater and your hat, and your sweatshirt and your water bottle, and to no fault of their own. The bigger companies really get that it's about your brand culture and who you are uniquely as a company. And that really is the foundation of where you need to go before you start decorating all your work, if you will. So we have companies, clients around the country that are large Fortune 500 clients. And we have local Mercer County, Central New Jersey, South Jersey clients in virtually every category, from financial services to hospitals and banks and sports teams, office systems, real estate, energy, transportation, tourism, a lot of different categories. So there's never a dull moment. And I've had it for 24 years. I started it right after 9/11. I was working in some big agencies before, and the agency I was a partner and creative director in was purchased. And the deal.
We're going to get to that. Now, the next question is how you got there. Just so you know, before you tell the story, I'm like, this is like my favorite question. Is the next question how you got to where you are? Katie, tell me more about NJBIA.
So it's NJBIA, but we are actually the largest statewide trade association in the country. We represent businesses from solopreneurs, one-person proprietorships, up to the large pharma healthcare facilities. We are not industry specific. We are really here to support business in New Jersey. We have an amazing advocacy team that is out there pounding the pavement every day to make business better in New Jersey, make the laws and legislature understand the business needs in New Jersey. We have a large suite of services that help businesses run, and we are really here to help support and do whatever we can for businesses here.
Okay. How about you, Diane? Tell me more about Erickson Sons.
So Erickson Sons, we're celebrating our 70th year this year. It was founded as a family-owned construction company. We're a general contracting firm. We serve generally in the Philadelphia region, but I say the tri-state region because we will go to New Jersey, Delaware, and maybe northern Jersey. We've been ranked in the Philadelphia Business Journal as one of the top contractors. We serve every major sector except for basically residential. That's not to say we won't, but residential is not usually where we are. We have an award-winning track record for annual construction excellence. We're known for interior fit outs, and we have carpenters and laborers on staff. So that's one of our claim to fame, that we actually are able to self-perform a lot of work.
Okay. Now, is there Sons? Is there an Erickson and Sons working together, or is that just the name?
So no, so the son is actually who the president is. Mike Erickson is actually the son, and he has since taken over. Charlie has retired, and his father has passed away.
Okay, well, okay, good. So, okay, so I was going to say, I always like people. Everyone has a story on what they do. You know, we always start. A lot of people lately during the pandemic shifted. A lot of people shifted, but a lot of people stayed. Like, you know, that happens. So, Tom, continue your story about how you got to what you do now. What your company? What happened?
Well, I mean, I was a partner and a creative director in a big ad agency that grew tremendously over the last 4 or 5 years that I was with them. And we were purchased by McCann Erickson. And as the deal went through, you know, I got all the joy of sweating, you know, nights and weekends of growing the business and pitching everything in sight and growing and staffing it up. And then it got purchased out from under us. So essentially, we did well. I took my money, but I was out of a job. And it was very eye-opening. So I decided to start my own. Everyone around me was saying, "Hey, you know everybody, every connection you've got, you'll get business by tomorrow morning." And I said, "Well, that's nice, but it takes a lot of hard work." But I did that. I started, and I wanted it to be about the big picture, about branding, not just a studio for web design or logo identity work. And my whole audience and my career has been with CEOs and the C-suite management. So they get it. It's about big picture. And all of the devices, the identity, visual identity systems, the video, the TV, the web design, the collateral, all of that are the devices to deliver your marketing. And we do all of that. We do it, like, as I said earlier, to all levels of companies. I want to know, who are you uniquely as a business? I want to know, how do you connect with your customers? How do you know who they are? Where are they? When's the last time you spoke with them? How do we know what they're looking for? So it takes investigation and some smart, you know, communications before we do the creative. We love the creative. We have an amazing portfolio, stacks up against any agency, and we beat out big agencies. But I want to know about your customer and your target audience and where are they. So it makes the creative focused. And I love what I do. Like I said, I started it out as a reluctant entrepreneur, I like to say. And here I am. My kids are all through college and grown and gone, and I have no mortgage, and I'm running the business. And so I guess I did okay.
You did okay. Now, Diane,
yeah.
how did you end up at? Because when I met you, you were working for someone else. But what was your track to Erickson?
So I actually graduated college with 2 engineering degrees, and I don't shake your head like, "Oh, she's super smart." I coasted by, okay, right? Like, I got by. But I found a niche, and I was doing facade exterior inspections and renovations with the engineering company. And unfortunately, it just wasn't working out with the current company that I was with, even though I'd been with them for 10 years. There was a transition of ownership. They're still a great firm. It just didn't align with what I wanted to do and what I was doing. And because I was a, get this, social engineer, I like to talk to people. I was bringing in business for them, and I was doing business development. And so it kind of rounded out that I got into marketing and business development. And now I'm doing marketing for the interior side of buildings. So it's kind of come full circle. Learned the exterior, now I'm doing the interior. And I enjoy what I do.
Okay. Now, how about you, Katie? You've been with your company for a while. How'd you end up? What was your path to where you are?
Sure. So I had worked with a couple other associations before NJBIA, and to date myself a little bit, I answered a little small ad in the newspaper that they were looking for somebody for their events team. And I applied. I thought it was a great fit. I loved being in Trenton. We were right on State Street. It was amazing. We do about 100 events a year. And this is actually my 21st year there. I just kind of organically grew with the company. And when we decided we really needed the business development team, it seemed like the perfect fit. I really just want to help businesses. I don't think I could say enough about our organization. I wouldn't have been here for 20 years if I didn't truly believe in us.
Okay. Now, and Tom, we're going to get you later, Tom, about this, because you said how you love what you do, and everyone says that. People says they love what they do, and there's certain reasons, and it's true. I mean, a lot of people do love what they do, but a lot of people are full of crap. Like, you see their posts on LinkedIn, they're like, "Oh, hashtag love my job." No, you don't. Like, you're shoveling shit. I mean, you can't love that. It pays the bills, but we can all say we love our job. But what is something that you don't dislike? What do you dislike about your job? We all have to have something. Diane, what do you dislike about your job?
Ooh. What do I dislike? Sometimes I don't have the time to be as creative as I'd like to be. That's for sure. Sometimes I'm under the gun and deadlines and I'm just not able to give it my all with the creativity. So sometimes you'll see posts like that on LinkedIn and or other, social media where I'm just like, I gotta get this out. I gotta get this out now. And this is how it's going.
Okay, now, Katie, what do you dislike about your job? And you've been there for a long time, so, it's true. It's obvious you like it, but there's got to be some things that you just dislike.
Some days when I know I need to stay behind my computer and catch up on work or catch up on putting information into our system, when I would rather be out meeting people, greeting people, and it's a truly personal, if something takes away from being there for my kids. I love my job in that I can be around, but they're so involved with things. And I hate saying, I can't make it to your first game because I'm going to be at an event. And then being at the event, which I love to be at, but wishing I had been there for my children.
Okay. And now you, Tom, because as you said, you're a reluctant entrepreneur. You started your business, so you must love it. And it's obvious. You've been doing it for 20 years, and your whole life has been in advertising and branding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 43 years.
So,
and I actually started as an architect.
So what do you not like about your job?
I used to have 55 creative people report to me, and then in one day I got my dog reporting to me, right? So I learned how to wear every hat, and then little by little push away those hats and delegate to other people. The never-ending dark cloud of IT, I can't stand that. Whether I'm managing over it or I have to fix something, because my operation is very small. So that's just such a bugaboo, IT issues. And then the notion that everyone thinks that marketing and advertising can be bargained and negotiated to lower costs. So what clients, the value that they see in advertising and marketing and the creativity it takes to be really special at it, is always nickeled and dimed. At least by the small and medium-sized players. The big ones, it's not an issue. It really is not an issue. But, we've been educated. I've been experienced at what I've been doing for so many years. And yet law firms command, $500-600 per hour fees, right? So it's tough. It makes it tough when you've been doing it for as long as I have, and you feel, you can feel in a heartbeat when you have to educate.
Okay,
Can I jump onto that?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, coming from Tom's point of view, like most clients, when they're trying to downplay and say, we don't want to pay for all this, they're the ones that are looking for like an instant ROI, right? Like they're like, oh, okay, you're going to put this ad in. What am I going to get from this? And it's like, it doesn't quite work that way. Like, this is the long haul. Like, this is the beginning. We're laying the foundation for what's to come. And they think that they don't want to spend money on that because there's not an instant ROI.
Yeah,
I see that all the time.
And nickel and diming is funny. And nickel and diming is, you see it like on Facebook, on the town pages, like What's Up Marlton, and they'll be like, hey, I want someone to come get this nuclear waste out of my backyard for cheap. And you're like, no, you can't. But it's true. People don't understand. Nickel and diming in advertising is the worst thing you can do, because advertising is going to bring you in money. So
yeah. Well, the state of New Jersey, real quick, the state of New Jersey has more nonprofits than any other state in the whole country. And, we want, and we serve a lot of nonprofits, right? And we want to be helpful to them, and their needs are emotional and very, very needed in the communities, right? But most of them, the first thing they'll say is, we don't have a lot of money. And you gotta, you have to do the dance.
Right, exactly.
Tom,
So
I was actually on a call yesterday. There's 35,000 not-for-profits in the state.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a nonprofit, just the Cooper nonprofit. I don't know what it's going to be for.
Right.
It's going to be for a thing. Anyway, so y'all get up, you go to your job. Okay, sometimes we have shitty days, sometimes we have great days. But when it comes down to it, and we'll start with you, Katie, what gets you motivated? What's something that motivates you in your life and makes you go to work when you're like, screw this. I just want to hang out and have a beer or whatever. What gets you motivated?
I think it's the success stories that we hear. And Diane had said, everybody wants an ROI right away, but we're a membership-based association. You get out of it what you put into it. If you're not willing to attend an event or come to participate in something, what are you going to get? You might come to us for health benefits, which is great. But if you, at the end of the year, say, you didn't bring me anybody, and I look and say, well, you didn't come to anything. So like yesterday, I went to this luncheon and, we gave our elevator pitch and somebody stepped up and said, I cannot talk enough about NJBIA and the advocacy that they do. He said, they helped me with such an issue. He said, I will be not forever indebted, but he said, I can't. He said, if you're a business owner here in the state and you aren't participating with BIA, and that just made, for me, the hour-and-a-half ride, it made my day so much better to hear that, to hear a success story, or know that we helped somebody save money, meet a new client, learn something that's going to help their business.
Okay, how about you, Diane? What motivates you?
Mine's more of a personal motivation. I have 2 little girls, so I liked, one, they motivate me to get out of bed every morning because they're usually up before me. But also I trying to be a good role model for them. Like, I want them to understand that you can be successful and still have a career, and you don't have to choose between the 2 of them. And I feel like that's often something that people are made to do. And thankfully, the company that I'm with allows for some flexible time, and I'm able to make those requirements with my kids and see them and participate with them and be active in their lives.
Okay, what motivates you, Tom?
Well, first of all, I'm up at 4 a.m. and we're at the gym every day at 5 a.m. No kidding, for years and years and years. So it's my wife motivates me to get out of bed, right? I'm a creative at heart. I'm a business owner. I know how to get business. I know how to listen and dig and find issues to help solve and be that marketing partner for companies. So all of that is what's part of the mix of trying to be understand someone's challenges and help be the right solution provider, right? But what it comes down to for me, at the heart of it, is the opportunity to be creative, and it's that never-ending drive to do something unexpected and fresh and different. And we don't make it every time, but it's the challenge to create a great ad. And when I say ad, it could be a commercial, it could be a video, it can be a logo, it can be a brochure, it can be your annual report. We do all of that. And that's what I mean when I say create a great ad, but it's creating that marriage, if you will, between a really well-expressed idea and the way you bring it to life. That's what motivates me every day.
Okay. Now, it's 2024. God, when this airs, it'll almost be April. And so the year's first quarter, as the business people say, or first quarter is done, which I've never dealt with that shit. I don't know quarters. I don't know quarters in football. But goals, Diane, what goals, it can be personal or professional, have you set for 2024? Because we're already going in 4 months in, but so what were some of the goals that you've set for yourself?
On a personal level, I was determined that I was going to read several books this year. Now, I tend to read the same paragraph over and over and over again because I get interrupted pretty frequently, but that's one of my personal goals. And then professionally is to really grow more. And I say that because not only am I working at Erickson, but I'm also the president of a marketing organization. And it has really challenged me to think outside the box about certain things. And it's also about managing personalities. And it has challenged me to really accept people and try to meet people where they are. So that was one of my goals, and I'm getting there. It's a work in progress.
Okay. How about you, Tom? What's a goal you've set for 2024?
Pick up 3 new substantial clients, more equal to the 2 largest ones that we have, so that we have a greater balance, not to mention greater income and new creative challenges. That's definitely one of my business goals. It also is to land more speaking engagements. I've been professionally speaking for about 5 years, and I continue to take speaking training with an incredible group called Heroic Public Speaking. And so it is to pick up, just another 3 or 4 or 5 opportunities to speak on a number of different topics that have to do with motivational speaking and business topics.
Okay. How about you, Katie? What are some of your goals for 2024?
Personally, I would like to see my son graduate this year. Turning 18 has been a big thing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, go to the World Series with the Phillies. But Steve, that's another conversation we'll have. Professionally, it is to get out and speak to more organizations. We have so many partner organizations. I love public speaking. It has been on the back burner, and I decided this is the year I'm going to get out and speak to more of our partner organizations, other associations that we can help and foster great relationships. We don't need to fight for members. We should be working together for our state.
Okay. So there's goals we have. Okay, 2023 passed. It was a weird year. After the pandemic, everything's been weird. It just you don't know what's going on. What is an obstacle? And we'll start with you, Katie. What's an obstacle you overcame in 2023 that makes you proud? That you sit there and go, I'm proud I overcame this obstacle, because we all have obstacles. And if you say I love that when people say they don't have obstacles. Like you go to an event and you go, "How's business?" They go, "Oh, it's great." It's like, well, you're driving like a 1974 Yugo. Okay, yeah. I mean, how are you? It's not going that great. Not that you worry about cars, because I drive a little Kia 4-door 2021. My wife made me get a 4-door because she is the 2-door. But yeah, isn't it awful? But what's an obstacle that you overcame in 2023, Katie?
Really just bringing in new members and really making them see the benefit of being a member. We lost a lot of members from COVID. It was devastating when we were reaching out and members just couldn't survive. I'll never forget speaking to a limo company who nobody thought of those little industries that were hit, but nobody was going to the airport. Nobody was having big weddings, needed drivers. And it was like an hour conversation, but really now those companies are starting to come back and we're able to help them and support them. And it really just was getting the word out that we are still here. We are helping businesses, and bringing in a large amount of new members last year was a great accomplishment for us.
Okay. How about you, Diane? What's an obstacle you came over in 2023?
I would say I really wanted to help build our company a little bit more. Unfortunately, when COVID hit, as projects were finishing, we were, having to lay off our project managers and some of the other staff, and we're starting to build the company back up, and I'm starting to see the market pick back up. So it was really challenging to be out and about, because people are still hesitant to be in person for a lot of things. They really are. So it was a challenge to really try to figure that market out so that we could hit the ground running and really bring in more business so that we can start building the company back up to what it once was.
How about you, Tom? What was an obstacle you hit in 2023?
The biggest one was firing a key client, believe it or not. Great work, awesome category to be working in, very creative work that we may win awards with, but and only recently at the end of December. I just resigned them, if you will, because, and I didn't burn any bridges, but they were impossible people to work with. Impossible. And it's only the second time in 43 years that I've done that. And it's a little bit heart-wrenching, because we were doing really good work for people in the company, and then it's lost income, So that was an obstacle, but the best thing I did was to unload them, and another was really just getting stale. It's reminding myself, is what we are doing looking old or stale? If it is, ditch it and try something fresh.
Okay. So you've all done well. You've had a good career, and at this point in your life, and it's changed. When I was young, success to me was a lot different than it is now. Success to me when I was doing stand-up was to become a star. Now I'm looking back, I wouldn't have wanted that. I know I've interviewed celebrities, and their life is just crazy. I know a guy who did a movie with one of the Ocean's 11 movies with Clooney, and he said, they couldn't even leave the hotel where they were shooting it. Like there was paparazzi everywhere. Like, so that's not, but now success is different to me. If I can afford a Smithwick's on St. Patty's Day, I'm a happy guy. But Diane, what's success to you at this point in your life? What is success to you?
If you would have asked me when I was graduating college if this is where I would be, I would have told you absolutely not. I took a total left turn in my career, and I'm not doing the engineering side of things. Like, I'm able to speak the language, but I'm not doing the engineering side of things. So for me personally, it's to really build upon my base knowledge and market myself as well as my company better, and really grow and learn myself. Like, I've found that this past year has really challenged me to grow as a person. And so when I can fully understand different individuals and really like know what I'm doing and not just kind of fumbling my way through, that to me would be success.
Okay. How about you, Tom? What's success to you?
I think about a year, maybe 2 years ago, I really felt that I achieved work-life balance, the real meaning of work-life balance. And that's critically important to me. I could work my tail off harder if I really, really wanted to make more money, but it would compromise everything else. So work-life balance for me is always something I'm just sort of judging, right? I have grandchildren, and we spend more time with them, and it's fantastic. It's everything they tell you it's going to be. It's fantastic. So it's more time with them. We are also right now building another home. So right now it's a little more than a hole in the ground, but that's, that's what we're looking forward to, right? And then I would say lastly, is to just be valued by my friends, be valued by my clients, be valued by my family members. It's you get that feedback daily.
Okay. How about you, Katie? What's success to you?
Happiness within myself, both personally and professionally. I think having people around me that support me and push me, but also let me be, excuse me. Last year was a tough year. I lost my mom, and I don't look back with regrets because I'm glad I got to spend as much time as I did. I don't want to ever look back with a regret. So, surrounding myself professionally and personally with those people that support me, I think is success. Just knowing I'm happy where life takes me.
Well, now you said, success, is happiness and stuff like that. Now, what is happiness to you, though? Because, people, sometimes they don't correlate. People go, success, you can be successful and you can be, like they all stories about Ray Kroc was so successful, but he was so miserable, and there's people that are like that. You see it with artists. They're so successful, but they have the devils inside. They're tormented, then you go, oh my God, Chris Cornell just hung himself, and you're like, holy shit, But so what is happiness for you? I know you said success is happiness. So then Katie, we'll start with you. Then what is happiness for you?
Contentment with my life. Not, I wouldn't want to be famous because I want to be able to walk into Wawa without being surrounded by people or people wanting my autograph. I like to be just able to go and enjoy my kids' events. Happiness to me is contentment, is being comfortable with my life where I am.
Tom, what's happiness to you?
Yeah. Happiness to me, to be really, really brutally honest with you, it is a hole-in-one on the golf course. It is a icy cold beer when you just worked out afterwards, right? Love good cold Corona. It's me being within my zone playing music, just a headset or even jamming with somebody else. I'm happy. I'm really, really happy at that. Um, it begins to change. I'm not ready to retire, but I'm getting close to it. And we have a lot of friends who are retiring. So it's coming to terms with like, yeah, we did all right. It's going to be there. We have the money.
I'll tell you, a nice cold Corona on a hot day is great.
Yes,
But it
incredible.
needs lime. I hate when I go to like an event or you go somewhere and they have I went to a party and they had Corona but no lime. I'm like, how? That's like having like a ham and cheese without mustard.
Yeah,
It's like, why
yeah,
isn't there lime? So
yeah.
what's happiness to you, Diane?
I would jump on what Katie said, like just contentment within myself, like finding peace within myself, like meeting, I say about meeting other people where they are, meeting myself where I am and giving myself a little bit of grace because I tend to beat myself up over the littlest things, and finding contentment within myself is really happiness for me because then that comes through to my children. And then when I'm happy, they're happy and everybody's happy then.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we're all happy. That's good. So we're all different parts of our lives. And, but everything, there's mentors and there's stuff like that. And there's important people in our lives. I've had many different ones. I've had one that helped me out when I started comedy. I'd have, my one friend who helped me get guests for my show. And, I pay that back. I had a teacher who was very, saw that I could write funny and encouraged that. So who's an important person that you've had in your life? There could be a mentor, it can be a parent, it can be a business person, but an important person in your life, and we'll start with you, Tom, who has somewhat shaped you or given you beliefs or supported you and really that just made a difference. Because, a lot of times the big term now is, oh, I appreciate you. Everyone always says, oh, I
Right.
appreciate you. And it's like, really, I just stepped on your foot. I appreciate you. You don't appreciate me. But what is something that, what's a person, Tom, who has
Yeah.
made a difference in your life?
If I could real quickly, I would state maybe three. One,
Okay.
my mother. I'm from a huge family, like I said, but before me, there were several lawyers and people in that upper echelon of category, right? And I was the artist. I drew and painted on anything that would take it. And I remember my dad saying to my mother, "Oh my God, what's he think he's going to be, a goddamn painter?" So my mom, she's, I got him. He's my project. He's my project, right? But she was fantastic to me all my life. And then I had a creative director in my second ad agency that I worked with, who really, really trusted me and set me free and taught me a lot of things about marketing and and positioning before there even was a word called branding. He was fantastic, right? And then, you know, my kids are tremendous. The things they've gone through to be where they are today. I love being their dad. It's been difficult at times, right? But they are a driving force. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's good. And how about you, Katie? Who's someone who's been important to you, who's made a difference?
I had a high school softball coach who was very involved with me in high school, both in school and outside of school. I worked a lot with her on committees and clubs, and she is just amazing. I still see her. My daughter has gone to her for softball, but it was just that push from a very young age, way back when girls weren't pushed to be what they could be. And she calls back her past athletes to come and speak to her team now. I mean, everyone just adores her. She is just an amazing. I've had some people that have taught me in that what I don't want to be. I've had some past colleagues or supervisors that I would never want to emulate. But kind of jumping on what Tom said, the first one that had come to me was my son. He and I we are so very close, but he makes me take a step back and be more laid back, where I can see myself in my daughter, very pushing, very, goal oriented and driven and do this, where he's just kind of laid back and he'll say, "Mom, just take a deep breath." He comes over,
Yeah.
just take a deep breath. "Mom, it's okay." And they like without seeing the differences in both of them and realizing that it is me. But they probably have made the biggest impact of my life.
Okay. How about you, Diane?
I have three actually. First would be my mother, who basically got divorced and was a single mom and raised myself and my brother and taught me to be fiercely independent. and that I could do anything, and always supported me and loved me no matter what I did, good or bad. She always supported me, which is how I feel about my children. No matter what, I will love them. One was a college professor who just pushed me out of my comfort zone to really get involved and get acclimated and learn as much as I could, but also be as outgoing as I could to try to learn from other people and to try to help other people succeed. And then my kids really do. I mean, Katie, I don't know how old your kids are, but I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. Sometimes I laugh because sometimes I'm like, well, they are blessings. They are. They're also the adult version of myself in miniature bodies, which is not always good, not always good. But I love them to death, and I want them to feel like they can do anything, and they inspire me to do that. So I try to kind of throw caution to the wind with that and say, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in yourself.
Like Katie, I had a tremendous coach in high school. I played football and basketball, and the football coach was tremendous. Learned a ton of life lessons from what we went through and the things I learned in competition. And then lastly, I would say Joe Montana, the greatest quarterback of all time. Cool under pressure. Joe Cool. And I can't tell you how many times when those lessons have helped me, just being cool under pressure.
See that? You're cool under pressure. That's what they say. Tom McManimon. And that guy, I'll go out and someone says, hey, you know Tom McManimon? I go, yeah, that mofo's cool under pressure. I'll tell you, I saw shit flying around. It was a tornado, and Tom just stood there and let it circle him because he's cool under pressure.
Yeah.
So I met all you through networking, whether it be in person. I've only met Katie in person, I think. I don't think I've met the other two of you in person.
Yeah, we've met. We've had a drink together.
No, we didn't.
Yes,
we haven't. No, I would have remembered.
South Jersey Chamber, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
There probably wasn't a line.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, so what makes you a good networker? Katie, what makes you a good networker? Because you're all here because you're good networkers, and I met you, so you put some kind of imprint on me. So what makes you a good networker, Katie?
Just being able to, writing it down and being able to remember who I need to connect you with. What you do and who I know that needs your services or needs to speak with you for some sort of connection, whether it's personally, professionally. Just because you make me laugh and I want to, Steve, like I would follow you all the time. Your comedy show is amazing, and you are, I think, one of the master networkers I know. You know everyone, so but knowing to put you in touch with others. So
yeah.
How about you, Tom? What makes you a good networker?
First of all, I love networking, morning, noon, and night. I love connecting people to people. My dad was a government lobbyist. He did the room. I love, being interested in people. You give me eye contact, we're going to start a conversation. And it's really bringing people together. And it's going into the room with confidence. It's going into the room selfless. It's not about what am I going to get today. It's about who can I connect with and not only be helpful to them, but bring people together.
I try to make eye contact, but I have a lazy eye, so it's not always easy.
Yeah.
Diane, what makes you a good networker?
I would just say being able to read people so that you can figure out who you're going to connect, because just because they're in the same industry doesn't mean that they're going to work well together. You need to be able to read those personalities and say, this person would be able to network better with this person. It's not about me. It's not about getting anything for myself. It's about helping them. But being able to read those personalities and really figure out if they're going to be a good fit for one another.
We're going to stay on networking. I want to know something that you've heard, something stupid someone said, or someone's done something stupid. Like I was at an event once and I heard this idiot say, hey, yeah, come sit with us. We're at the cool table. And like, what are you, like Fonzie? Like, what is this, high school? You're going to take my lunch money? And this person's a real blowhard asshole. But what is something weird you've heard at a networking event, or something that just irritated you that happened? And we'll start with you, Tom.
Well, you start with me, huh? I mean, I think it has a little close connection to what you just said. It's the cliches that you hear people say. I think we could do good things together. Or can we share business cards and who do you know in your organization that I should be talking? They're too direct. Those questions, for me anyway, have not been the solution to success. It's been more about building a relationship. I got a client that we've now served for 2 years that I've been on boards with for more than 10 years. And 2 years ago, he said, "Do you guys do?" And I said, "Of course, you know whether we do that." Right. So it can be a long time. Right. So I don't necessarily right now remember a lot of weird or bizarre negative things. Some of them are stories you don't want to be told about in this format, right? But uh, they're pretty lively. I mean, I'm in so many different groups that the nature of the mix of people is interesting.
Okay, how about you, Katie?
Well, I can't stand hearing the word pivot anymore. It just bothers me. I hate, and I feel like everybody thinks they're cool if they say the word pivot, and it can just annoy me. But we have heard, I mean, I've been there so long. There are some, trying some stories, but we were at a networking event at an old hotel in Princeton, and they had fish on the fish, like you walk along and they were lower. And a gentleman and my colleagues and I just looked at each other. He said he just wanted to take off his shoes and socks and walk along and have the fish nibble at his toes. And it was, who says that to
Really?
you want to do business with? That's
Yeah.
one of those, like, did I think that or did I really say that? And we still laugh. We still were like, the fish, the fish.
That's some bizarre stuff. How about you, Diane?
We were always told, your goal is to have 3 new business cards, right? When you go into an event, get 3 new business cards from people that you didn't know before. Yeah, that's great advice, except for 3 new business cards could be 3 people who have absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing or how you would network or anything else. And so when I would walk in with some of the younger kids that I would, go to networking events, I'd be like, your goal is to get 3 new cards, but you need to get 3 new cards from people that will actually bring you value, right? Like not just 3 new business cards, because they would go get 3 business cards and they'd be like, all right, I got my cards, I'm leaving. And I'm like, no, that's not networking. So that was one of the sage advice things that I had heard when I was younger, and was like, no, I really need to take this to heart. And like, it needs to be 3 people at least that I have not met or networked with before who's going to bring value to me and my networking group.
Okay.
Yeah, let me add that if I could. One of the things about doing business together, aren't you naturally attracted to people in the room who are smiling and laughing and they have energy? They're not Debbie Downers, okay? Aren't those the kind of people that you want to help bring you up and do business together instead of the negative, woe is me, life sucks kind of people, right? So if you look and find those people just at a glance quickly in a room, you stand a much greater chance of connecting, right? So, because it's a big part. We used to do pitches and know that in the first 10 minutes, they already know that you got the goods to deliver what they're looking for. And the rest is chemistry. Do we understand each other? Do we like each other? And so that's a big part of networking too, is just, seeing the people and walk in the room as though you own the room. And I don't say that to sound cocky, but walk in the room with confidence as though you own the room and find the people that have energy.
It's funny you say that about the energy. I don't know if anyone watches What We Do in the Shadows, which is one of the funniest TV shows ever. But Colin, the energy vampire, I would love to see him at a networking event, just sucking everybody dry. If you haven't seen it, watch the show. It's hysterical. So I messaged you. I know I messaged a few. I messaged Tom and Diane on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is very important. It's very important. Everyone has to be on LinkedIn, and I always have this segment, and my blood pressure always goes up because there's a lot of stuff I hate about LinkedIn. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. I think just there's a lot of bullshit on there. But my latest gripe is the narcissists. Because, when you humble brag, you're a narcissist. I don't care what you say. That's a sign of being a true-on narcissist, controlling what people think, and you want people to look at you a certain way. Well, I've noticed some people who are narcissists also, they respond to every post, but then when respond, they don't respond like let's say Tom wrote something about, well, I had this idea for a pitch. And they don't respond like, oh, that's a good idea. They say, well, yeah, that's a good idea, but I would do it this way. Or but so that's just pissing me off this week. Narcissists on LinkedIn, they're just really pissing me off, and I get pissed off at little stuff. My wife laughs. I see Gus the Groundhog on TV. I get pissed off. I said, the girl in the Fresh Pet commercial who with the redhead is a total bitch when she's like, "Oh, you put your dog food in the refrigerator." I'm like, screw her. I'm like, I can't deal with it. I want to change the channel. So Diane, what's something that pisses you off about LinkedIn?
When you tell people to like, comment, and share on everything, when they make nonsense like comments and shares. So when they comment on something and just put something stupid into the conversation, or just to make sure that they're being seen. I know that's what they're doing. It's all about the analytics, but don't do that. Like, actually contribute to somebody's conversation and make it worthwhile, and try to make them think or respond, or something that's going to create a response. Because when you just like, comment, share, okay, yeah, this is great, and then it means nothing. It means nothing.
I always refer to that like a Seinfeld episode, like she's an overliker, I don't know, I think she's an overliker. And Kramer's, oh yeah, she's an overliker. Tom, what's something that pisses you off about LinkedIn?
People who make posts that are too long. They put like an entire brochure worth of narrative in their post. Come on. Anybody really going to read that? And if you really want them to read that, just have it be to a certain point where it links to where you posted that someplace else, like in a blog. They show you their entire narrative, and come on. So that annoys me. I just, as soon as I see that, I don't go past sentence 1 or 2, right? And then the last thing is, use it for what it's really meant for. LinkedIn is much more about business connections and business topics, and job search, things that are very more business focused. And when you start posting garbage that's just personal, it's going to junk it up and drive more people away and not even make it effective.
Okay. How about you, Katie?
Yeah, I kind of have to jump on what Tom was saying. I think that I go to LinkedIn for business relationships and things that would support my business or people that I'm looking to do business with. I don't share a lot of personal unless it's something personal that is business related. There's other social media outlets for that. Like, I don't need to see that you went to the grocery store today, or I don't, and kind of all social media platforms, all the advertisements, just,
Right.
and it says paid advertisement, or you might let me decide that. I don't like to be pushed into that, because I can't keep scrolling through. I go to see what the people I want to see are doing. So
I had the one ad kept popping up on my page, and I just hated the guy. He looked like such a dick, and I was like, how can I get rid of this? Like, do I snooze him? Do I unfollow? You can't unfollow it, but
right.
So this is a topic a question I started a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, and I'm actually going to start doing it on LinkedIn, actually, because I think it's very valuable. It's about books, and I always say I don't read business books, and I've read The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. That's it. But I'm going to start with Tom, because Tom actually put a book up this morning, but I want to know a book, and you can use that if you want, Tom, or you can use something else. A book that it's been important to you, that has made a difference. And it can be, if it was, on the road, you can say, oh, I became a beatnik because I read Charles Bukowski, I became a drunk. That's fine if it made a difference in your life. But Tom, a book, and you can use the one today, but what's a book that has made an imprint or helped or just impacted you in your life?
The one that I posted today, it's so crazy that I did that. I had no idea that you were going to ask that question. It's a book called Range by an author named David Epstein. And it really is about the value and importance of a range of experiences that you bring to your present position, whatever your present state of status is, right? And it starts with a comparison between Tiger Woods and Roger Federer. And it's pretty cool. You could see it in social media if you looked up what I just posted. But it's pretty, it's one of those books that I had to read front to back. If it's a great book, you're going to turn the page. That was a great book for me. Another one is called Second Acts. And I read that about maybe 8 or 10 years ago. And it was really, we all faced that moment of transition where you're thinking about it, what's going to be my second act, right? Whether you're thrown into it or whether it's something else you'd like to do, and it really stuck with me. I too read the Malcolm Gladwell books. I've got them all and have read them all. I love books by John Grisham, right? And that series. I don't read a lot. There's one right now that I'm reading, a political book. I'll just leave it at that. It's a political book, and it's fascinating. Yeah, the Malcolm Gladwell books and Range and Second Acts.
Okay. How about you, Diane?
So I tend to read the same paragraph over and over again when I sit on the beach, because that's my favorite thing to do, is sit on the beach and read a book. And I'm also one of those nerds that's like, my husband laughs all the time because I'm like, yeah, and you go to one of those libraries, like down the shore or whatever, in one of your campgrounds, nobody has any like self-help books. They're like my favorite. And he's like, because who reads that on the beach? I'm like, I do. I read that. But one of the books that I read over a summer was This Shit Works by Julie Brown. And it's a great networking book. I found it to be insightful because it helped me communicate better with the architects and engineers, because we're very specific to architects and engineers and construction workers. It really helped me identify some of their strengths and weaknesses and how to help them break out of those cycles and let them be more doer sellers. And I really enjoyed that book.
Okay. And how about you, Katie?
I am definitely more of a fiction. I'm not a self-help. I don't like business books, but one that I read, I gave my nephew, was Make Your Bed. It was by, and I had to look it up because I wasn't sure, Admiral William H. McRaven, and it was from one of the graduation speeches, and it really touched me. And I still think to this day, because I get up first thing and make my bed, then I know I've accomplished something for the day. So that really probably was one of the first ones. And I give also The Alchemist, because I just think that that's a great book.
Okay. It's funny to make the bed. I won't say the bit I do on stage because I think you heard me, Katie, but my wife I make the bed and then she remakes it because she has OCD when she gets home from work. And I have a bit about that. And it's something, I say something crude, which I'm not going to say on air. And it always works. And I told her, I said, I'm going to do this bit. And she's like, and then she came to one of my shows a few weeks ago and she's like, that worked. I said, I know. I said, but it's true. Why are you making my goddamn right? Anyway, final question. I always end with this. And we'll start with you, Tom, and we'll go around the room. Someone comes up to you, as my mom would say, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They could be getting out of trade school. They could be getting out of high school. They could be starting a new job, but they're at a point in their life where they want to pivot. I'm joking, Katie. They're at a point, and they come to you looking at you as somewhat as a mentor. Okay? And I want to know how do we make all this shit work? How do we figure this out? What advice do you give to that person, Tom?
They're already in a position where they want to pivot from, you're saying?
No, they're just anyone who's coming to you with advice on how to make it in the business world. How do we do something? What's the key? What's the happiness?
One thing I would say is to surround yourself with people with wisdom and experience, not just one person. You're asking me, but make me be one of like 6. Surround yourself with like a board of advisors, right? People that you can really count on, right? Then make sure that you're pursuing something that you really will be self-driven to do. You asked the question earlier about motivation. Don't make money be first. Be practical and know that you got to make money, right? But don't make that number one. Do something that will really charge you and motivate you. And the net result of that is that you will be happy. The net result of that is that you will be driven to improve every day and be better than you were yesterday. And success will come. Right?
Okay.
That's just one of the things I would tell them.
Okay, how about you, Katie?
Yeah, I think having a board of directors, and those people are the people that either are going to support you no matter what it is. There's going to be that person, either friend or family or business relationship, that's going to tell you like it is, whether you want to hear it or not. I think just not standing on just, I have this idea, I want to start a nonprofit, but really do your research and know what it is that you're looking for.
How about you, Diane?
One of my famous things is I don't know any 18-year-old that goes into college comes out with a degree and is working in exactly what they went into do when they went into college. I don't know none of my friends did it. Nobody does it. So at some point in your life, you're going to come to a crossroads where you're going to want to change, or you're going to want to, as Katie likes to say, pivot into a different type of position, or at least build on that base. So figure out what makes you happy. Like, what do you love to do? And even if it's, like I use myself as an example. I hated engineering in college, but my parents kept pushing me to do it because they were like, well, you've gotten this far, you should keep going. So I was like, okay, I graduated with my degrees. Now, what can I do that's going to make me happy, that I can use that foundation and make, do something else that's going to bring me joy in my life? Because sitting behind a desk and doing calculations is not it. I don't want to do that. So it's really finding what you like and surrounding yourself with people that do the things that you like, that will be good resources for you, that will help you grow and help challenge you and help bring those things to fruition. That's really all you can do.
Okay, well, that was great.
Let me add to that, Steve. And what makes you happy changes. It's okay to admit that,
Absolutely.
I'm not happy being that anymore. I want something else. It's going to change, right? And to try something now, just try a lot of things. You don't need to know, I have kids in their 30s, and they went through that stretch of time where I don't know what I want to do. Well, you don't need to know that you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. You need to just try something, try things.
Shadow people, right? Like really shadow people. I always tell my younger kids that, and my teenagers and whatnot, like, just shadow somebody. Ask to go to work with them for a day. Like, bring your kid to work day. See what they do. See if you like that. Because I know I didn't have that exposure when I was younger. No, through no fault of my parents. I'm not blaming them. But I didn't have that exposure. So if you're able to do that, shadow somebody. See if you like it. Because you might find out this is not actually what I like, and I like something different. So if you have that ability, lean on your friends, lean on your parents' network, lean on all of them and say, I'd like to shadow you and see what's going on in my life and see if I like this. See if this is a career path for me.
All right. Well, people, I want to thank you for coming on. How can people get in touch with you? Tom, how can people get in touch with you?
The website of our business is StimulusBrand.com, or they can email me directly at tom@StimulusBrand.com. And if they want to have a telephone call, my cell number, I'll give you that, is 609-457-0161. But you'll see and learn a lot about who I am and what we do as a company at StimulusBrand.com.
How about you, Katie?
We could connect on LinkedIn. Give me a call. I love to talk to people. 609-858-9481.
I never give my number out. I go to events. I don't even have my number on my business card. I don't want people calling me. I do not want people calling me. Diane.
I don't necessarily need people to call. You can text first and see if I'm available to call. Usually there's a kid screaming in the background, just saying. But the website is CErickson.com, and my email is dgoschler@CErickson.com. Or, my contact information is on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out anytime.
So people reach out to all these wonderful people. You can contact me at the Coop Tank at yahoo.com. If you want to advertise on the show, hit me up. I get top professionals, and the people who watch this are top professionals. So what a better way to get a brand out? I mean, you get between 50 and 150, 200 people hearing your message. It's better than going to a luncheon and paying $1,000 for 35 people. So hit me up for that. Also, go to YouTube, look up the Coop Tank, watch past episodes, rate it, subscribe. March 30th, that's a Saturday night, I will be doing a show called Laughs and Lyrics. I'll be doing 20 minutes of stand-up, followed by Nigel Bennett, who's actually really good friends with Adam Clayton from U2. He was in an 80s band called The Members, who had a big song called Working Girl, and he's in a punk band now called The Vibrators V2. He'll be doing like a 30-minute acoustic electric set, and then we'll be doing a 25-minute conversation about the 80s music scene and stuff like that. So that's at Medford Studio 67 on Main Street. $20 BYOB. Email me once again at thecooptank@yahoo.com so you can check it out. Also go to see coopertalk.net. That's my celebrity musician web podcast. And I'm at episode 9. I record 999 on Tuesday, so that's pretty good. So check that website out. Also, SuiteRecording. Go check out Joe and Rich DeSisto here. Contact them at hello@suitrecording.com. I'm Steve Cooper. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will talk to you people next week.